Hi everyone, so today we're going to be doing a review of the DJI Mini 3. So here I have the Fly More combo, which I purchased on Amazon for sale. So as you can see, it comes with the RC controller with the screen, the actual drone itself, as well as 3 batteries in the battery case, and also extra propellers and screws. So when we open the package, we are going to receive this nice case, which is made out of a nice material, and it's very sturdy, and it's just overall a very nice case. So when we open it here, we're going to see the drone itself, as well as the controller and the batteries. And it comes with one of the batteries already inside the drone itself. So here we could take out the drone, which comes with a camera gimbal cover. Here we have the RC controller, and we also have the battery case. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the battery case. So if you click here with this button, it'll show the current state of battery for the charger. So here we have 2 out of 4, and here we have 3 out of 4 charging. So the way these batteries work is it'll charge whatever the highest, closest to 100 battery first, and get that to 100, and then go to the next battery. So it aims to get one battery at 100% the quickest. And also, if you plug it in to an external thing like a USB, it'll act as a portable charger almost, and take power from the batteries itself. So here we have the actual drone itself. So in order to take off the camera gimbal, we basically take our thumb and remove it off this holder, and then we just slightly move it away. And here we have the actual camera itself. So in order to take these propellers out, what we first can do is there's this one which has this holder right here, and you basically pull it away from you to open the side, and then we do it on the same side as well. And then for this side, we have the drone, so you just take it out and pull it away from it. So here we have the drone itself. In order to turn on the drone, we just press the power once, and then we hold it again. So press it once, and then you hold it. And then you'll hear that sound, and you'll hear the camera and gimbal adjust, and it'll make this drone sound. The next thing I want to take a look at is this controller itself, and behind you'll see the 2 screws attached. So you just simply have to take one of the screws out, and you can put it into either joystick, and you just screw them in. And then we do this for the other one. And in order to turn on the device, we'll press the power button once and then hold it again. The 2 places that the item comes with for micro SD insertion would be over here, and then we have one also for the controller, which is under this flap right here. And we could see here where the micro SD card is inserted. So for the controller itself, the micro SD card is only needed for actual screen recording if you wanted to record what this actual screen is giving you. And we could see here through the screen that it had automatically connected. But before this, you're going to have to actually update the device. And it might say like new firmware for the batteries as well. And all you would have to do is click update. I also forgot to mention that it actually took me a while to figure out the extra propellers are actually located in this actual zipper. So if we unzip it, we'll see the extra propellers, and there should be a screw in there as well. So this is a little tour of what the actual remote control looks like after setup. So if you look here and we scroll to the notification center, we could see here where we could adjust the brightness as well as the volume. And we can go here and actually turn on the Wi-Fi to connect it. And if we go into the different settings, we could control and see the different menu options it gives you. So in order to actually fly the drone, we can go here to connection guide. And right now the drone was actually disconnected, so I'm powering back the drone. And as you could see here, we obviously select DJI Mini 3. and it'll just be searching for the aircraft, and then once it finds it, it'll automatically connect to it. Okay, so now we have a little tour of what the app is, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a explanation of how to modify each thing. So the first thing here is if you wanted to modify the resolution of the video, we can switch to 4K and go to 30 FPS, and we can go back to 1080p, and it'll tell you approximately how much storage space you have left. The next thing I want to talk about is the satellite. So right here, I'm indoors. So right now it says moderately weak. So this is what actually enables the DJI drone to hover in place. So when you're indoors, it'll probably be moving and not be able to remain at the same spot. Whereas when you're outside, it's more able to hover freely. So here we also have the battery, and as well as how much time we have left. So we have until return home, until forced landing, until battery's depleted. So here is a good view I'd like to explain. So here we have the actual map of where the drone is. So as you can see, this triangle is the drone itself, and the blue circle is where I am right now. So if you could see with this arrow that's on the circle, if I move the actual controller to the direction of where the drone is, it'll turn green. So this could be helpful when it's in the sky and you want to make sure it's pointed to the actual drone. And if we click here, it'll actually switch it. So now the blue is where I am, and I could turn to the drone where the triangle is the drone. And then you could obviously expand this by actually pushing it outwards, where you could see an active map of where it is. And then you could actually put the map into full view and going back. So here we also have the settings I want to talk about. So here we have the auto return altitude. This is how high it will go when it's returning back home. So you obviously would want to set this to a relatively high amount when you're outdoors. So here we have max altitude, and you should make sure on your laws what it's actually. So I know for US, a lot of the times it's around 400. So we could adjust it and to the max altitude, and as you go in, as well as the distance, to make sure you're not going far away. Here we have control, where you could set what units you want. And here's gain and expo. So this is actually how fast it is. So that's why here we have cinema, normal, and sport. And these are the tunings. So as you can see, we have different options and different gains and max control speed. So it'll affect how fast these actual controls have on the drone itself, and you could adjust those to your liking. Then we have the camera here and different views and modes. And when you first start out, I would definitely recommend formatting your SD card to make sure it's nice and fresh and ready for you to use. And there's also transmission, which you should not really touch and have it as auto for the most part. Then here we have the about, until you check for updates for your aircraft, and just overall serial number information, as well as this reset all settings in case you mess up any of the settings and you're going to go back to factory. So we can go here and click calibrate. All right, now it says calibration successful, and then it says angle pitch to large. So now we're going to do an actual takeoff. So in order to actually record, you basically just have to scroll down and click screen record. And this has to be if you have the micro SD inside the controller. And as you can see, it's recording. So right now it says calibrate gimbal, but I think we should be fine. So you click this button on the left that says take off. And the best way I like to take off is to actually just hold it, and while holding it with your hand, and making sure you have a good amount of space above. So here I'm gonna lower it a bit and just hold the takeoff button. So as you can see, it's now in space, and you'll see on the app that it actually disabled the tracking, so yeah. So I'm just gonna move it a little away, and then we're just gonna click L1 to record, this shortcut right here, where it says record. And now I'm gonna show you guys what the actual footage looks like. Okay, so now if you want to have quick effects, what we do is we go to this top right item, we go to quick shots. And here we can like select this like a car, and then there's different modes like rocket and rotate and circle. But the one concern over this is that this does not come with obstacle avoidance. So as you could see, something like this tree over here, which especially during winter time could be hard to know exactly where it ends because the branches are hard to see and know where the actual branches could end. It can be hard to know if we actually have ample space, which is why I feel like quick shots would be only good use when you're in a very, very open field where there's no trees, nothing around you, and there's no risk that you could take within that. So here we can show you how the quick effects works. So I'm going to first select this car as my object. And you could see how it's being selected within the green dot. And we're doing this rocket mode where it pulls back. So as you could see, it starts and it starts slowly fading away. The only issue with this is that as I'm moving back, there's no sensors built in the drone to avoid any obstacles. So in this case, there was a house behind me, so I had to cancel it. Whereas something like a Mini 3 Pro or newer versions might have active obstacle avoidance, which can give you more assurance that you won't hit any obstacles, as in these quick effects, it's just predefined paths. In this other quick effect example, as you can see, it's slowly going above the selected area, but if something like a tree is nearby, it can actually end up being in the way, which you have to be extra careful for when recording. Now this is an example of using the panoramic feature in order to take a picture of wide angles. As you can see, this is the sphere mode, which captures a full 360 photo view, which could be later shown in the app. Now we're going to first take off and give you a little bit of a demo. As you could see at the top right, our GNSS, which is our satellite signal, is low. But as we increase the altitude of the drone, more satellites become discovered and our number increases at the top right, which is going to allow our drone's ability to hover to dramatically increase. And as you could see with the battery, of around 15 minutes until return to home, and this number will continue to decrease as the battery is depleted. Now as we go away, we could see how we're going at around a max of 30 miles per hour, which is pretty good for this drone. And as you could see, we're idling at around 300 feet, which is perfect. And this video is sped up just to make the video a bit shorter. And as you could see, I'm rotating the gimbal, and this is used by the dial on the top left of the drone, and it could be modified in the settings to your liking. And as you could see, as I'm moving away, this RC signal at the top slowly begins to decrease as I move farther away from the home point. The drone does allow you to go above the 393 feet, but it'll continue to display a warning, letting you know that you're above the allowed limit. Now the drone also has a portrait mode in order to capture videos in this kind of portrait style that could be used for things like social media content. Now on the controller itself, there's two dials on the top left and top right, and when you press the left side dial, the gimbal will go up and down, and when you press the right dial, you'll be able to zoom in and out with the camera itself. Now as you could see, when I'm getting closer to home, the actual RC signal becomes very strong. In order to return to home, you press the same button you used to take off and you click return to home. The drone will go towards the actual home point and then slowly descend as shown. In order to set up quick transfer mode so you don't have to put in the micro SD card into a computer every time, you can press the button 3 times on the DJI drone once it's started up. You will then see the blue lights flicker, meaning that it's ready for quick transfer. And as I could see, my app already detected it. Once we join the network, we should be able to see photos that are on our DJI drone. Here we see that the connection was successful, and we can go to special parts like the panoramic, and we can press this download button in order to save it to our local device. Here was that sphere that we recorded that's easy to view in the app, and you can click the 360 photo viewer, and it gives you a full 360 view of what it looks like, which is cool. And you could also download it, as well as videos. So here is just some photos that I've took on my recent trip away, and as you can see that it captures very nice photos and is at a very good height. In these photos, you could see that I'm able to capture a large dynamic range, and the sun's not even out right now, so you could see how good it's able to capture with limited lighting. Now going into my final part of this video, I want to give my final thoughts, as I've had this device for around a month. It is quite pricey at around $600 if you can get it on sale, and in certain locations, it could be really hard to use when there's lots of trees and branches. And even in this particular situation, I'm way above any of the trees in order to avoid any obstacles, so I only can get very large landscapes. It would be hard with this drone to be able to do some follow mode and do some more closer up videos, especially without the obstacle avoidance. I would say this drone is perfect for you if you're a beginner and you'll be able to film in open sceneries like this and not have any close-up or detailed videos. I personally tried flying this inside my own home, and the actual ability for the drone to stay in place was very limited, and it's not something that I recommend doing. So you'd only be able to capture really aerial landscapes. Additionally, a lot of the places where you might want to actually fly the drone, it's likely for it to be banned, such as national parks or things like lighthouses. So you might actually find it difficult to record in any places that you might find interested in actually recording without approval ahead of time. The main concern for me is that the FCC is banning brand new DJI devices from being sold in the US, which can actually limit things like the DJI Service Care Plan, as right now you cannot purchase it for recently purchased DJI devices. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer it, and as well as your thoughts on if the DJI Mini 3 is worth it.